Hey scholarly equestrians, in this video let's discuss riding instructors. Now in this video and for the context of this video and the topic and everything, I want to put in just a little bit of a caveat of what I am separating horse trainers and riding instructors. So specifically for this video, riding instructors are going to be the type that are only instructing. They're not training any of the horses that the student is riding. Generally speaking, to I'm going to more include it with riders who are riding school horses that the instructor may or may not own or just has access to, but not necessarily riders with their own horses, because that does go more into the realm of the trainer as well. And in this case, in this aspect, I just want to go over the riding instruction portion of everything. So we're just going to limit it to, in this case, in this discussion, with instructors that have or have access to school horses and train students to ride those school horses. So in this discussion, what I'd like to talk about and have you guys join me in the comments and discuss is what you think of as a riding instructor, right? So beyond just your general learning how to ride, okay, you learn how to turn left, turn right, stop, go forward, you learn your gaits, walk, trot, canter, etc. What other purposes can you think of that an instructor has for their student? If you are an instructor, what's a thing that you like to teach? What's something that you like to bring to the table that goes beyond just the riding portion and even the horsemanship portion in general, right? So haltering, leading, tying, tacking up, grooming, all of that is encompasses in the regular lessons. In my opinion, in my case and everything, what we're discussing, what we're talking about is, what goes beyond that, right? What makes an instructor a good instructor? What makes an instructor a good coach and mentor? And what are some things, if you are an instructor or if you're a student or a former student, um, what are some things that you've noticed that can be some shortcomings with riders and instructors? And um, so in this discussion, I just want to go over that and everything else. So in my opinion, and in some of my experience and everything, I think that instructors are forgetting about the fact that we have a responsibility to really bring up that confidence of the writer. And sometimes it's not so much that it's forgotten entirely, it's just forgotten that there's different ways of doing it and there's different ways that it presents or doesn't present itself with writers. There's different ways that a lack of confidence or panic and the inability to regulate and take command over fear when it presents itself, right? So there's many different reasons that somebody might have fear. It can just be a general fear, that general, self-preservation. There can be trauma involved or not. It's not always because of a traumatic experience. It's not always because something bad happened or because they're just not used to it. Sometimes it can just happen just to happen, and it's that self-preservation. Whatever the reason that a student might present as being nervous or falling into that fear and letting it take a hold of them, it is our responsibility to be able to help them through that. So that confidence building goes beyond just, being confident to ride at the walk or the trot or the canter, right? Yes, that is helpful. It's important for riding lessons, but it's also important to learn how to help the student work through fear, work through things, especially when they lose their confidence for whatever reason, and to be able to manage that fear, manage that panic when it comes up so they can utilize it to their advantage. You don't want them to not be afraid, to not have that fear or worry and everything, because then we make stupid mistakes if we're not fearful, if we're right. So we want that silver lining, that balance of having that fear and understanding why we have that fear, and then being able to manage it and put it together and build up, and in this case the student have that, and learning to manage it and to build up that confidence on being able to take back that control when it's trying to take over. And so instructors have a responsibility for that. They have a responsibility for getting their students to understand how that's beneficial and can really help them in the long run. And mind you, as instructors and everything, we're not necessarily therapists, and we're not psychologists or anything else. So we're not delving deep into, the emotional turmoil or the trauma, if there is any, or anything behind it. But there is a little bit of an aspect of helping students work through that bit of emotional journey when it comes to it, because if we don't, we can't push our students to be better, because they're not going to be able to manage it. They can't handle it. We start getting stagnant in our lessons. I've seen it, I've experienced it, where the fear's there, so we don't, or rather, I'm saying we a lot, but as instructors, we don't want to overburden our students. And I understand that. I understand that we don't want to do too much, and it can be a thing where it can easily tip in the wrong direction, but we have a responsibility to push the envelope a little bit and expand their comfort zone, right? And so if that means that you have a student who normally rides an hour, but they only walk and do a little bit of trot because they're scared of cantering, then they don't ride an hour. They lesson for 30 minutes, and then you do lunge line work for 2 to 5 minutes with them cantering on the lunge line. And you just push them a little bit through it, a little bit more, right? Now, whatever level, whatever it is that they need, but they need that. So instead of riding for a full hour, they just do 30 minutes, because that last little bit, that last little push is going to be that canter or whatever it might be that the student is struggling with. And working through the panic, working through the fear, working through that tension when they freeze up, especially, and how to get out of it. And when they make just even the tiniest bit of progress in that aspect, in that moving forward movement, expanding the comfort zone, even the smallest amount of progress, and that's it. That's what you do, right? That's their lesson. And then you take the time and go over it with them, discuss it, be like, this is why we only did it this long, this is why we did this, and this is why we're ending now, and this is why you're taking a little bit of extra time to process it, and be proud of yourself and be happy with where you got and everything. So instead of taking a full hour or however long your normal lesson length is, taking that full time of just doing the same thing that they've been doing for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, change it up a little bit, shorten it, and then do just a little bit more, right? Go beyond that boundary. As a trainer and everything, I talk to some of my clients, everything with their horses, especially ones that are more fearful and reactive, that we go and we expand that comfort zone. And I use the analogy of the target symbol, right? The rings around there. But instead of it being just, red and white, it's green in the middle, then the next ring, which is usually white, and the target thing. So you have green, you have orange, and then you have red. You want to expand that green into the orange, expand the orange into the red, and shrink the red, right? And so those zones, the green zone is your comfort zone. The green zone is normal, it's comfort, it's home, it's everything that we are comfortable with. So whether it's person, horse, what have you, that is the okay thing. That is everything that is safe and welcoming to what we feel like. The horse, the rider, whatnot. That orange is your discomfort zone, but you're not going to necessarily have that meltdown. You're not going to completely shut down. You're not going to go backwards or regress, whether it's the horse in training or the rider in riding, right? So expanding that green zone, though, you have to venture out into that orange zone. And depending on the issues, depending on previous experiences and just experience in general. The orange zone can be very, very small, very narrow. It can be a very small margin before you jump into that red zone. And the red zone can be huge. That red zone, when they shut down and that panic happens, but it's beyond just a little bit of panic. It is completely shut down, overwhelming, and you regress. The rider regresses, or the horse regresses if it's, horse and everything. But in this aspect of the discussion, we're talking about riders and everything. So if the regression happens, everything, that their orange zone and that middle ground is very small, right? If you're working on something like that and everything, so you have to take tiny little baby steps, chop it up, make it very, very small, even less than bite-sized pieces. But there are ways to improve that, right? So and as you work on it, that green zone expands, the orange zone expands, and the red zone starts to decrease. It will never go away. We will always have that little bit of something that says it's too much, right? And if we go into that or go beyond that and everything, that's when meltdowns and panic attacks and shutdown and regression happens, right? And if regression happens, if you imagine that target again and everything else, that red zone expands, the orange zone decreases, and the green zone decreases, right? What was safe could become feeling a little bit unsafe, feeling a little bit unsure. So we have to be careful on that. But if you keep it in mind and just do a little bit at a time, a little bit and a little bit more and a little bit more, eventually you're going to have more and more, and you're going to help those students with expanding what they can handle and what tools they have to be able to manage themselves when they start getting into that orange zone and getting to the edge of that orange zone into the red zone and starting to panic and shut down and freeze and whatever else the student might do. Excuse me. So the other thing too is understanding helping students understand the difference between your standard school horse and your more advanced school horses, like your schoolmasters, ones that are really high level, whatever discipline it is, your advanced horses, and then horses that, they would necessarily have as their own horse potentially, and how it is different when you go from a school horse to a owned horse. Even a lease horse can be different between a lease horse and an owned horse, and different from school horse to a lease horse. Not everything is the same. And so at the facility that I work, there's two main school horses that I use and everything, and they both know quite a bit. But outside of the fact that they're different horses and everyone has their own personality and everything, with my students that mainly ride them and they're working on things, they have different outcomes within working within the same boundaries and the same information, everything between the two horses. And part of it is because one of those horses has been a school horse much, much, much longer than the other one. And so she is used to being in that school horse atmosphere where mistakes are made, and she kind of knows to kind of ignore it. She'll make you fix things and do different stuff, but like she's used to that. She's used to being a school horse. She's spent much more an amount of time as a school horse versus the other horse who hasn't spent nearly as much time as a school horse and has spent more time. In this case, I teach dressage, and these are dressage horses. And so he's done, much more in dressage shows and dressage training, not necessarily a higher level than the other horse, but just spending more time with that refinement than with students who are learning and students who don't necessarily know as much and are from, basic beginner, relatively speaking, up to that horse's level, right? So the response is different because their understanding and their expectations are a little bit different, right? And so that gives them a little preview into how it can be different between buying a horse that hasn't been a school horse before, because it can be a little bit different if you buy a horse that was a school horse, but you buying a horse or a student buying a horse and getting that horse in and it being, one or two person horse, depending on the training status and, what and who the owner was and what was going on with that. And then you have, your student and yourself working those horses, working that horse, and it is different than, and it's going to respond differently, it's going to understand differently, and it's going to have higher, in a sense, higher expectations, without anthropomorphizing the horse too much, but it's going to have higher expectations for what the rider does and how the rider rides than the school horses. So I think it's very important that we talk to our students every once in a while about that. Even if they don't necessarily have an interest in buying their own horse, it's just good to know, like, hey, school horses will always, I say always, school horses will generally always take care of you. They will be there for you. They'll do whatever. While anytime you go, even a lease horse, especially if you do lease horses that were personally owned or something, weren't like school lease horses, things like that, it kind of goes more into the realm of the ownership side of it. But I think it's important as instructors that we help our students understand that school horses can help you and they can be great with building up that confidence, and it can still help with whatever confidence or lack of confidence and other issues that arise. But it's going to be different anytime they have a personal leased horse, an owned horse, or things like that. So that's a short couple little examples and different things on what I think, we as instructors should do to help our students out. Let me know in the comments, as I said, what are some things that you like to do with your students if you're an instructor. If you're a student, what are some things that your instructor does that kind of goes beyond the usual horsemanship and actual riding portion of riding lessons? What's an instruction that really helps you? Or if you want to go into some story and information about like how you've overcome something from a good instructor and how they helped you overcome whatever obstacle it was. So thanks for watching.